I woke to a ceiling that didn't belong to me. White. Sterile. Too still. The kind of stillness that makes you wonder if you've already crossed whatever line separates the living from the forgotten. My throat burned as I tried to swallow. A nurse stood over me, her voice soft, rehearsed. The kind hospitals teach you so grief never splashes back on them. "You're awake. We tried calling your emergency contact, your wife." A pause. Her eyes lowered. Not in pity, in discomfort. She said she couldn't come, that she was busy. That word slid under my skin like a blade. Busy. My chest tightened. Not from the wires attached to me, not from the pain, from the simplicity of it, the ease, the carelessness. Busy. The nurse hesitated again. "We told her your condition could worsen overnight, that it might be critical." But she said it was her ex-boyfriend's birthday, and he needed her more. I stared at the ceiling. The silence in my head wasn't empty. It was organizing itself, rearranging, solidifying. Not shock, not heartbreak, certainty. Something had already broken long before this night. I just hadn't seen it. The nurse looked at me like she expected a reaction. Tears, rage, something that proved I was still human. But all I felt was a strange, cold quiet. A preparation, a recalibration. I didn't ask for my wife again. I didn't ask for a phone. I simply closed my eyes and let the truth settle, heavy and exact, inside my ribs. 2 weeks later, I walked out of the hospital alive, just not as the man who went in. Recovery is a quiet process. Not the body, people forget that. It's the mind that moves silently, rearranging itself in the background. I spent those 2 weeks listening more than thinking. Listening to time. Listening to the empty visitor chair beside my bed. Listening to the nurse who stopped asking if anyone was coming because the answer became its own shadow. I replayed her words each night. "He needs me more." The sentence grew edges. I remembered small things, tiny, harmless at the time. Her late-night smiles at messages she never opened in front of me. Her sudden gym sessions that left no sweat. Her phone always face down. Her laughter when she thought I wasn't listening, lighter than the one she gave me. These were fragments I once brushed away, but lying in that bed, stitched to machines, they formed a pattern I could finally see. The betrayal wasn't the hospital moment. That was just the reveal. The betrayal had been happening quietly, consistently, with the precision of a slow leak draining someone who thought the foundation was solid. I didn't break. I observed. By the time they cleared me for discharge, something inside me had crystallized. Cold, sharp, efficient. I didn't call her. I didn't text. I didn't tell her I was alive. I simply packed my bag, stepped outside, and inhaled the air like someone meeting the world for the second time. At home, everything felt untouched. Not because she cared, but because she assumed I wouldn't return. Not soon, maybe not ever. She had left no note, no message, just absence. Fine. Absence is a language too, one that speaks clearer than lies. So I followed its threads, quietly, precisely. I started with the small things: phone records, online banking sessions I didn't recognize, transactions that weren't mine, diners I never visited, gifts I never received. Each clue was a whisper, not loud, not obvious, but undeniable. I watched everything without touching anything. I let her pattern expose itself. She used our joint account as if it were a private wallet. She sent money. She received messages, transcripts of late-night calls, missed calls I didn't know existed. I didn't confront her. That would have given her control. Instead, I traced every withdrawal, every card swipe, every busy moment she'd gifted to someone else. The ex-boyfriend, the one she left me to die for, the one she celebrated while nurses wondered aloud if I'd make mourning. I moved with the same calm the hospital had taught me. No rush, no emotion, just gathering truth like someone counting the seconds before a storm breaks. Then came the tipping point. 3 days after I returned home, I logged into our joint bank account and saw 4 new charges, all within hours. A hotel room, a restaurant, a liquor store, and then nothing. Silence, like she vanished into a weekend that never included me. That's when I knew what I needed to do. I went to the bank in person, not to ask, not to argue, just to verify. The manager listened carefully. He pulled up the records, he printed everything, each sheet another piece of a life I never consented to. Then he asked the question that solidified everything. Do you want to file this as theft? I didn't smile, I didn't speak. I simply nodded once. One clean motion. He froze the accounts, filed the claim, marked every suspicious transaction for review. Her name, her access, her freedom, dissolved with a few keystrokes. And as the paperwork stamped shut, something in me did too. Not anger, not revenge, just closure beginning its slow, deliberate descent. Exactly 2 hours after the file was processed, my front door rattled with frantic knocking. She stumbled inside like someone escaping a burning building, hair messy, breath uneven, eyes wide with the raw panic of someone watching their safety net collapse thread by thread. "Why did the bank call me?" she demanded. "Why is everything frozen? What did you do?" Her voice cracked on the last word. Did. As if I owed her an explanation. I didn't answer. I simply slid the printed paperwork across the table. Every transaction, every late-night withdrawal, every hotel room, every betrayal. Her eyes skittered across the pages, then stalled. Her expression shifted. Shock, denial, fear, then something more primitive. Exposure. You think No, this isn't... You're misunderstanding." "I'm not," I said quietly. Just 2 words. Enough to break her. She sank into the chair like her bones were turning to powder. "Please, listen, it wasn't like that. I needed time, space. He was going through things, and you left me dying in a hospital for his birthday." Silence. That was the moment she shattered. She reached for my hand. I didn't move. "Please, I can explain. I swear I can fix this. I just need access to the account." "That's why you're here." She flinched. I continued, each word steady, measured. "You didn't come for me at the hospital. You didn't come when the doctor said I might not survive. You didn't call. You didn't text." I leaned back. "You came because the money stopped." Her lip trembled. "That's not true." "It's exactly true." She broke then. Not gently, not beautifully. It was an ugly collapse, jagged, desperate, choking on its own lies. "Please," she whispered, "I made mistakes. I know that, but don't do this. Don't leave me like this. I'll lose everything." "You already lost me." The sentence landed like a blade. No yell, no threat, just truth. She reached out again. "I can't live without." "You did," I said, very comfortably. Her face twisted, something between grief and rage. "You can't just walk away." "I already did." She stayed on the floor for a while. I watched the light fade from the window behind her. It stretched across the room like a final warning before it disappeared. Her sobs softened, then quieted, then stopped altogether. I felt nothing. Not victory, not pain, just the steady calm of someone who had finally stepped out of a wreck he didn't realize he'd been living in. She looked up at me one last time, eyes swollen, voice barely a breath. "What now?" "Now," I said, standing, "you learn to live with the choices you made." I walked past her, opened the door, let the evening air wash over me. Behind me, the house stayed silent, and for the first time in a long time, so did I. I didn't look back. People only look back when something is worth remembering. She wasn't.